Question: how do you feel when you walk away from the grocery store, get in your car, you're halfway home, and suddenly you look at your receipt at a stoplight and you realize you were shortchanged? Not very good. Am I right or am I right? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. This is Jan. Welcome to another episode on this channel, the Save Money More Jen channel. That's only talking about a grocery store trip. You go back, you show them mistake, blah, blah, get it corrected. But you want to know something? There are 8 crazy ways that people shortchange themselves financially in a big way. In a big way. So let's talk about that today. Number one, they do not track their own expenses. Just like the person that instead of checking their receipt right then and there at the register or even at the parking lot before they leave the grocery store area, they wait till they're practically home and all of a sudden check their receipt. Kind of late in the game, but I mean, not impossible. It still was correctable. However, they do not track their expenses under normal circumstances, normal situations. That is a big mistake because if you don't know where you are, how can you know where you're going? Financially speaking. So, that in a way and of itself is absolutely shortchanging yourself. You could be, well, patting yourself on the back for nothing that's really existing or thinking things are worse when things are actually better. So it really pays to track your expenses. There you go. Next, they rationalize or excuse exorbitant or oftentimes unnecessary expenses. But I had to buy that pink elephant that's in the middle of the room and doing absolutely nothing but collecting dust. I had to have it. That pink elephant in the room was very, very necessary. They will find any excuse. They will come up with many, many ways to rationalize the reason for the purchase of an unnecessary and exorbitant expense. They're shortchanging themselves. They're shortchanging themselves from possible savings, buying things that are needed as opposed to silly wants, things that have absolutely no true value in their lives. So, rationalizing or excusing exorbitant and oftentimes unnecessary expenses is typical for a person that shortchanges themselves financially. They just don't see it because they didn't feel the pinch yet. But one day they will. They're going to wake up and notice I really did not need that huge pink elephant that is sitting in the middle of their living room all day long. No. Okay, a lot of things that a lot of times rather the people that shortchange themselves, they call a want a need, which is actually connected to what I said last. They have difficulty with that. It does take practice. I'm not going to lie. It does take practice, but practice if you can. Ask yourself every single purchase where you're on the fence with. Okay, we're on the fence. How do I really need this? Or be honest with yourself if at that point you are really just wanting it and can it wait for another time, for a better time? Now, don't get me wrong. There are people who could buy everything they want anytime they want. It doesn't change their life. They are financially secure, beyond secure, and they could give in to their every single whimsy. Well, can I tell you something? Goodness bless you if you are truly that person. But I wouldn't know why you're listening to this show, but thank you for doing so anyway. But for the most part, the rest of the world, e.g., people like myself, I have to ask myself, is this a want or is this a need? I want that carousel. I need that carousel. No, I didn't need a carousel. I knew at the end of the day, even subconsciously, I just really wanted that carousel. I bring that up all the time because it's a great example because it really happened. But it does definitely take practice to distinguish a want from a need. Frugal people, let's just step aside for a second. Let's talk about frugality here. This is where the tool of frugal people come in handy. They don't necessarily make a purchase decision, boom, snap decision. They will ponder the decision, and people around them sometimes get impatient. Do you know anybody that is frugal and may take a minute or two longer than you to make a decision at the grocery store? Does it drive you bonkers? Like, hurry up, get that thing already, whatever. But in reality, a frugal minded person will step aside and think, especially, oh, forget about when they're making a major purchase. When we make a major purchase, we really drive some people that are impatient crazy. We think about it, we weigh it out, we think about all aspects and all sides of the benefits and the value. It's just that's its own show, and one day we'll get into that. But practicing wants versus needs indeed takes practice. So no judgment there, no judgment there at all, but keep practicing. It is a skill. All right. Now, this is something I don't know. I hardly ever hear anybody talk about this on any frugal channel. Hardly ever hear anybody talk about this, but I'm going to jump into it. All right. So, this is another crazy way that people in general shortchange themselves financially. Want to know what it is? Their salary requirements are way too low considering their experience or skill set. Of course, educational factor. Uh, 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 uh. Think about that. Are your salary requirements too low? Look around, find out what the going rate for somebody as skilled as yourself is. And by the way, again, another future show, people are not planning enough before they go to an interview. They're just worried about the positive outcome. Be prepared when you go on an interview. Have it ready in the back of your mind what your requirements are because you are interviewing them as much as they are interviewing you. It's a big decision to take on a job. Now, some people take on jobs lightly and they fluff it off. I, for one, do not, but that's me. Everyone else is different. But I take it seriously. So I like to be prepared prior to the job interview. Okay. But at the same time, I'm also interviewing them, whether they realize it or not. So it's not just about what they want, it's also about what you require. And if you are not asking properly for your own salary requirements, it's really not fair to you. I know. You wanna put food on the table, and I get that, and I get that taking on that job for a little bit until, but I don't know. There's a lot of things to that. Like I said, that's its own show. But are your salary requirements way too low considering your background, considering your experience, considering your skill set? This is very important. You have to think of this. It's very important. So don't shortchange yourself financially by having too low of a salary requirement. Find out the going rates and what works for you. See what happens. You may be happily amazed at getting a job with the correct salary requirements that you have actually deserved, in this case, deserved and earned. I'm just saying. All right. Next, they never think outside of the box. These are people that crazy ways that people shortchange themselves financially. They never think outside of the box despite having a wonderful new idea that the world may need. You know, one of the things that I do on this channel, on this platform, I encourage many times people to create their own YouTube channel. I don't encourage it for them to make money because I'll be honest with you, some really, really do, and they make exorbitant amount of money. Some people just barely get by to their minimal requirement that they could cut a check. But that's not the reason that I encourage people to do this. I encourage people to do this because I believe the whole world has something to share. Anybody that's listening probably has some gem, some golden nugget of information that just may change someone else's life. Think about that. Okay. Like something they may be saying may be resonating to someone else. So for that reason alone, I'm telling you, that's just an example. They never think outside the box despite having wonderful new ideas. If you don't share your new ideas, your big ideas or whatever, it doesn't have to be on here. It could be elsewhere. It could be in a form of writing or just sharing it somewhere else. Share your wonderful ideas with the world. You may be helping someone else. You don't even realize it. And besides, the world is full of great people with great ideas. We're all meant to be creative, every single one of us. We were created by creation, okay, by God. We are creative people. This is something we inherited. We are creative people. I just sit in front of a microphone and share my thoughts. But I believe, I know for a fact, because people have come back to me on it, that I have helped change some people's lives just with a few simple words by getting up at the crack of dawn and getting behind this microphone. But you see where I'm going with this, all goofing aside. All right, got to have a little sense of humor. All right, next. They are afraid to try new recipes for fear of failure. Now this is like a down home, grassroots, backyard, in your house, in your apartment, a little bit of a fear, afraid to try a recipe for fear of failure. Sometimes there's stuff in restaurants that you really love to eat and you spend tons of money going there. Like, for example, some people like to eat veal cutlet or chicken cutlet parmigiana. These are the easiest things to make, in my honest opinion. They spend tons and tons of money. You could slash those costs to like a fraction by learning how to make something so simple. It's really a matter of assembly and just knowing how long to put it in the oven. I'm serious. Learn how to do those things. For example, if those foods are your favorite or whatever favorite recipe. Spending tons of money from the restaurant version. I'm not saying it may not be delicious. Of course, it probably is, but it's also expensive. By never trying, never learning, just because you're afraid it may mess up the first time, so what? Let it mess up the first time. Find another way. The whole fun of these things is finding another way, even with a mess up. Well, so what happens if you undercook the chicken? You just put it back in the oven. Big deal. What happens if you overcook the chicken? Well, cut it up into small pieces and throw it in a casserole. There is always a solution to a problem. We make our own problems half the time. But being afraid to try a new recipe for fear of failure is silly. It's silly. Just give it a whirl. Next. Okay, so other things like crazy ways that people shortchange themselves financially, they think things will or could not ever get better. Ooh, I could spend an hour on that one. They think things could or will not ever get better financially. Huge mistake. Just imagine the word huge in all caps. Just imagine the word mistake in all caps. This is a huge mistake. Don't think things will never get better. Pick yourself up by the bootstraps. Dust yourself off and say, you know what? All right, it failed the last time. This time it's going to be a winner. And keep trying and trying and trying again. Keep trying again until you get it right. Even if it's the umpteenth time, just imagine how wonderful you are going to feel when you accomplish that goal and you realize, yeah, things are starting to look better and brighter. Things are looking up for me. Don't think and don't resolve yourself to fear or resolution, a fake resolution that things are never going to get better for you financially. Please keep your chin up and keep trying. Find a way. You can do it. I promise you, you can do it for real and for true. All right. Next, they don't think enough of themselves to save and even perhaps one day consider investing. You can't invest money in monies that you don't have. So you have to start off first by saving. This channel focuses on saving. I don't really talk about investing, but you have to have money to invest, right? I don't recommend, and I am not a financial planner or financial expert. I'm just a person sitting here blabbing away behind a microphone with a thought. And this is my thought. It doesn't make logical sense to invest what you don't have. You can't do it. It's impossible anyway. So you have to have that certain something. In this case, it's some savings. Start small, increase, keep going. Don't deny yourself, don't deprive yourself, and do not shortchange yourself because of a silly lack of ridiculous confidence. Now, I know that many times, and I'm sorry to say it, we live in a negative world. We do live in a positive world too. Focus on the positive aspects. Listen to the folks who are positive and upbeat. Forget about the naysayers. You know what? You want to do yourself a big favor? Don't blab about your progress. Sometimes people are so happy that they're bulging over with great feelings of happiness and information they want to share. And then one day they share that information with the wrong person that wants to be a killjoy, as I call it. They just want to ruin how you feel. Some people can't see other people get ahead. So the best thing I totally, in this case, this is really coming from my heart. Honestly, I strongly suggest this thought. Just ignore those people. And for naysayers, don't even give them the time of day. Do not reveal your progress because some people are so super sensitive. They're making great progress, and then one silly word or one dopey sentence can wreck their efforts. That is so not fair to you. Okay, do yourself a favor and say, you know what, that lady blabbing behind the microphone right now is making a ton of sense. Sometimes things are better kept to yourself. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep squirreling your money away. Keep saving. If some people laugh at somebody's big win at the grocery store that they bagged a great grocery deal and saved $10 that week, somebody else might go, yeah, okay, everything's so funny. But for that person that did the effort, I give you great big fat old kudos. Kudos to you because it takes thinking, it takes processing, and it takes execution of the method. And that's what you did on purpose to save $10 to use for another purpose. There you go. All right, everybody. I know I blabbed a little too long. Well, not too long. 15 and a half minutes or so is not so bad. Keep in mind, I'm only on once a day. And by the way, if you're brand new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. If you've been here a while, thank you, thank you, thank you for being here all the time. Can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And do know that this show comes on every single day. I upload at 5 a.m. Now, you don't have to get up at 5 a.m. to hear it. It's sitting here from 5 a.m. So whenever you want, a brand new show uploads every single morning at 5 a.m. If you happen to wake up at 5 a.m. and put it on, have a cup of coffee and hang out with me for a few minutes, and we'll talk about some of the stuff that I personally believe is quite important. And if not, maybe just a lot of fun. Have an amazing, fantastic day. If you found value in this video, which has run past 16 and a half minutes practically, please click like. Please click like. I really appreciate it. And so does this platform. Thank you.